Mothering Sunday could have been a really good film. The premise sounded quite interesting. I thought things like the costumes were beautiful, the scenery was lovely, the cast is obviously on top form, but unfortunately the editing for this and the pacing is really terrible. It goes back and forth between different timelines, well, all very similar timelines, but different points in the characters' stories, and it just does it in such a sloppy, messy way that it feels like there's no care taken over how the narrative is actually being presented, and that makes it really clunky and uncomfortable to watch. And as such, I did not enjoy it. As I said, I enjoyed things like the cast, I enjoyed the costumes, I enjoyed the scenery, but the actual narrative, although it could have been interesting, was very poor, very poorly presented. This was released last year in 2021, directed by Eva Husson, written by Alice Birch, based on a novel by Graham Swift. And as I said, the cast is pretty fantastic. Standouts for me are Olivia Colman and Colin Firth, Odessa Young as young Jane, or as the main age of Jane, which makes no sense if you don't know the narrative. But I thought she was particularly brilliant, and I enjoyed her performance. And I don't have any issues with any of the acting at all. It's just the way the narrative has been really poorly edited that makes it just really difficult to watch and not pleasant at all. The description from IMDb sums it up really nicely without spoiling anything, and it says, "A maid living in post-World War I England secretly plans to meet with the man she loves before he leaves to marry another woman." We have drama. It's definitely dramatic. Will she meet with him? Will things go well? Will he marry the other woman? Will he maybe realise his true feelings for her? Will she get caught having an affair with this man? What will this do for her position? She works for the Nivens, played by Olivia Colman and Colin Firth. There are obviously a lot of things at stake. She is risking a lot for what she believes is love. Is it love? Is it infatuation? How does he feel about her? There are a lot of questions. There's a lot of potential drama, and I think it could have been really gripping and really fascinating. And when you throw in things like the gorgeous costumes, the beautiful scenery, I found the music for this was really pleasant. The acting was very good. Some of the dialogue I thought was quite good. It could have been great, but the constant going back and forth was really ineffective. Not only was it ineffective, but it was very poorly done, and I don't know why they made that decision. Yes, to use analepsis in that way and tell a story from present day and then into the past, where you focus mostly on the past timeline, that could work. It does work. Many films utilize that effectively, and it works very well. Unfortunately, it does not work here because it's not done very well. You're constantly trying to think of where you are, what has happened to the character at this point, what could be happening next, and then just as the narrative's about to move forward, you're pushed back into a previous scene, or propelled forward into a future scene, depending on, of course, what is happening at the time. So, unfortunately, it's very poorly done. It could have been great. There are a lot of aspects of this that are very positive and work well in its favour, but Mothering Sunday as a narrative is poorly executed, and all it does is make me want to go and read the novel and find out how the story should have been told. I am assuming the novel is good, but having said that, maybe it isn't. Maybe the novel goes back and forth a lot too, and they didn't take too much creative liberties to actually make it better. If you've read the novel, I would be very interested to know how it compares. I might, at some point, have a read of it, but for just now, I'm quite happy to distance myself from Mothering Sunday because it was just a disappointment.